Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is waking up a convicted felon this morning.
But he was cleared from the most serious charges and avoided life in prison. Joining us now with what's next in this case is attorney Rachel Fiset. Rachel, thank you for being back with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We talked to you, of course, yesterday morning, right after the verdict. Now, of course, the latest is that his bail has been denied by a judge. Talk more about why you think the judge decided that, and were you surprised?
I was not surprised that bail was denied. The judge really focused on what he needed to be focusing on, which is whether it was safe to release Diddy into the community, if he had a proclivity for violence, or if he was a flight risk. And really what the judge honed in on was his proclivity for violence. And he was using basically the defense strategy throughout the trial, which was not to deny that Diddy did have violent tendencies and did act violently. And so for the judge to then rely on that is not surprising when he was denying bail for releasing him back into the public at this point. So I think it was pretty solid ground, and he had a lot of items to cite throughout the evidence within the trial.
And Rachel, because Combs was cleared from the most serious charges does not mean he doesn't face the possibility of prison time. Can you tell us how many years in prison he does face for the charges he was convicted of? And what's the likelihood of it being the maximum amount of time?
Well, the maximum amount of time is 10 years for each of the counts of which he was convicted. That is very unlikely. It is very unlikely he would get 20 years. Within the prosecution papers, at this point, they are saying that they would like to see him behind bars for 51 to 63 months, where Diddy's team is saying the average amount of time, while they'd like to see time served, which he has already served in prison, waiting trial, they're saying around 2 years. So I think we're going to end up between 2 and 5 years. The judge is really going to rely on what is called a pre-sentencing report, which will be written by probation. But that's really the inner and outer limit I think we're dealing with is 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. All right, and then as far as when he'll be sentenced, a sentencing date has been scheduled for October, but do you see that getting moved up, and if so, why or why not?
Well, the judge has scheduled a hearing in advance of that October date, and what they're really determining is when that pre-sentencing report can get issued, and that is outside of the lawyer's control. So I think they're just checking in to see if that October 3rd date works with the probation department, who will be writing the pre-sentencing report. That is really something that the judge relies on in doing sentencing.
And Rachel, we know that there are still dozens of civil lawsuits against Diddy right now, so the fallout still continues.
Absolutely. He is not exonerated from those. He is still a convicted felon, which is very bad, generally speaking, inside of civil lawsuits. So he's still in a lot of hot water as it relates to those civil cases. Those will continue to go on.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.